Yo, 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 yo. Bonjour. Namaste. What's up? What's up? Oh, sorry, Panda. So sorry. It's actually it's just how my, this is just, I'll tell you an interesting story about the music and why I like this music specifically. And especially at 10 p.m. or what. It's because I'm a big fan. If you go on my Instagram, I was always a big fan of Kobe Bryant, right? Not because an interesting thing about so many players, some of the players is that some players are born with the talent, right? And some players just work their ass off to reach what they wanted, right? And so Kobe Bryant, in my opinion, is one of those players who was talented for sure to a level, but reason why Kobe Bryant became Kobe Bryant was because of his attitude. And his before starting, he mentioned, this is the first time he mentioned, in only year before his death, or actually not even a year, 4 or 5 months before his death, that he used to listen to Halloween theme music before starting to get him into that zone, where a zone of okay, do not touch me, do not talk to me, leave me alone, I'll get what I want, right? I will reach where I want. Let me just do what, listen to this, right? Getting into that killer mindset. And that's the story of why I choose this, why I like this way. So, yeah, that's the story from my side, and that's why I started listening to this and I became a fan. I was like, this actually makes sense. I'm in the zone too. Gets me in the zone. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea why I do this. And that's pretty much it I have. But now, as we are starting, right, this is an interesting series, and this is something I always wanted to do because there's a lot of things happening in AI, in technology in general, and I always wanted to learn for all those things, but also learn from what are good quality content, right? The whole idea is okay, good quality, how I can say find what is good quality, and I can share what is good quality content to everyone in the community all around the internet, right? Whether it's about on Twitch, YouTube, anywhere in the world, right? Discord, anyone. And that's what this Uncle G series is. Why G? Because my name is Gaurav, right? So G comes from there. And I like the word Uncle G, honestly. But yeah, that's the answer to a lot of questions. If anybody was wondering, I don't know if you guys wonder about these things or not. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, with that being said, let's go over certain things I was looking at in terms of learning to know what's going on in the tech world. I'll pause this one and I'll share a different screen because I have so many of the tech related ones open that I have to first close these. I don't want to share anything. What is this one? NCP projects, AI. Okay, yeah, this was an interesting one, and I will share this one. This interestingly actually worked. One of these laws I saw recently work into my life, and I'll share this link. Okay, one sec. Sorry, I have to pause all my. But yeah, this one, 13 laws of software engineer. I'll make this post quickly. TLDR. For the Reddit page specifically, because I want everybody to read through these. So I'll go for this body and then link TLDR and then the link. This is how I want everybody to share whenever they find something, if they find something cool. And you can see it was already open. Air and link and 13 laws of software engineering you will witness. Software engineering laws. And it's very interesting because you probably have seen this too. So let's read through these ones. Some of those are famous and some are quite niche. All of them are super useful to engineers and managers. Curious to know how many were new to you. So Parkinson's, all these ones. So let's just go and do a deep dive. Hofstadter, Brooks, Conway, all these ones. I'll go like this. For each, I'll share the law, a relevant comic if I found one. Why does it matter to engineering managers? Let's go. Parkinson's law. This is a famous one, and let me share the link actually of the Reddit post. I forgot to do that. Can I do it? Share. Okay. I'll share in this. Way too small. Okay. So now let's read through the laws. So Parkinson laws. Works expand to fill the available time. This is a famous one. This is used to justify fake and sometimes unreasonable deadlines. Hey Sock, this is important, but you have a month to finish it. I'll start right away. It's smarter to wait until the last minute and then make a big show of how hard you are working to meet the unreasonable deadline. You said that right in front of him. I'll still work. That's the freaky part. It will still work. That's interesting. So, White matters. And here, this one is actually very popular. Even by Elon Musk mentioned that if you give yourself like 1 hour to clean your house, you'll get it done within 1 hour. White matters. We covered in depth in James Stranier's, who is that? Engineering leadership. Okay. Great guest post. By setting deadlines, you will probably get better results. It's all about playing with an iron triangle of scope, resources, and time. Like a law, this one can be abused. Hofstadter's law is a great counterbalance. Okay, it always takes longer than you expect, even when you take into account Hofstadter's law. Software projects are almost always late, even when you factor in buffer time. So if you use Parkinson's law to justify short deadlines, you'll either completely burn out your team, right, or always be late. So, which is interesting because a lot of people, everybody is part of a project, right? So either you completely burn out or you always will be late. I'm so bad at estimating how long projects will take. Don't panic. There's a simple trick for that. Take your most realistic estimate, then double it. Okay. Now double it again at 5 minutes. Double it third time. Okay. 30 seconds have gone by and you have done nothing but double imaginary numbers. You are making no progress and will never finish. Interesting. Why it matters. Those two laws cover everything you need to know about why estimation software is so hard. Take endless buffers. You will waste time on meaningless work. Too short buffers, you will be late. Basically, you will burn out. No quick way around, just tons of practice and communication. So I think like one thing with deadlines, either they are way too unrealistic or you are late because yada yada yada. And so it's always hit and trial. You learn from your mistakes. Brooks' law. Adding manpower to a late software project makes it later. That's true because you might have seen this meme in which we added a project manager to make sure like our things are on time, and now people spend hours every day, half of their time in meetings. The famous saying is 9 women can't make a baby in a month. That's some good stuff. So if somebody says, hey, add more people, even 9 women together can't make a baby in a month. Hopefully you like that. So next one, let's read through this one sec. Okay. Every EM under pressure knows this feeling. When a higher up says, this is super urgent, you can get any people you need from others team, right? Or just bothering me, let's just work. Or just stop bothering me, let's just work. Interesting. Why it matters. You cannot be an engineering manager without being a part of late project. See the two laws above. So when an engineering manager under pressure knows this feeling, higher up say this is super urgent, you can take as many people from other teams, right? Or just don't bother me, let's work. Most engineering managers don't fully grasp this law. They think the reality is more similar to Riegelman effect, which we'll cover in a sec. So let's say you have 4 people on project and you offer 2 more senior engineers, but it won't add 50% productivity. But you think you will for sure go at least 5 to 10% faster. This too often the reality is you will go slower depending on the course or many variables. Like every law here has its limit. So I think like if people already were part of that domain, for example retail, makes sense, it might become faster or they knew about the project. But if it didn't, it will 100% go slow, especially if they're not in the part of the domain, because then you have to, if you are from telecom, retail, ETFs, like stock market domain or investment domains, it's interesting. Conway's law: organizations produce designs which are copies of the communication structures of these organizations. Communication structure, how they communicate, not like what they want. For example, a SaaS company has separate front end and back end teams because the teams operate separately. Their communication structure affects the product architecture. Front end team builds UI that expects data in a certain format. Back end team builds API based on their own assumptions. The API responses don't match exactly what the front end expects, requiring extra transformations. Over time, the SaaS apps ends up with extra layer of glue code and inefficiency because the team didn't collaborate closely. That's interesting, and this I have seen a couple of times. So comic, in Conway's law true, and management arrives the structuring of organization, then the management design software architecture, it all makes sense now. Is management don't know anything about coding. You can inverse Conway's law to your advantage. A great example is what Flow did. Who's Flow? Being an engineering manager at Flow. Oh, okay. I'll take a look later. I think I'll say reading backlog at Flow. Okay, so they struggle with 3-week app store release cycles for their mobile apps. So they put each team just 1 iOS and 1 Android engineer and 2 to 4 backend engineers. By pushing more functionality to the backend, they can release 20 to 30 times per day instead of every few weeks. Wow. So, but they change how the structure works. And majority of the things was shifted to the backend engineers. One front-end guy just maintaining a little bit of the front-end code. Nice. That's actually interesting. Cunningham's law. The best way to get the right answer on the internet is not to ask a question, but to post the wrong answer. This is so true. This is so true. People love correcting others. Are you coming to bed? I can't. This is important. What? Someone is wrong on the internet. You see. Well. No time to sleep. You have to correct this person, random person. Why it matters. In 6 secrets of never being blocked again, we covered how you can use this to unstuck yourself. Instead of submitting a request to the DevOps team, waiting for them to prioritize this, eventually getting it done, simply open a pull request to do it yourself, even if you have no idea what you are doing. Look at the merged PRs, find a similar one, and try your best. This does number of things. The DevOps team will see your PR and say, WTF, it is this. They'll reply quickly on the PR with what needs to be fixed. You'll have better knowledge of what to do next. The DevOps team will gradually standardize this process with automation and policies. That's very interesting, especially if you're working as a consultant and your progress a lot of time is blocked by different companies and stuff. This is very helpful. Sturgeon's law. 90% of everything is crap. Like 80-20 Pareto, but on steroids. Whether it's code, ideas, or features, most things suck. That's true. A lot of people's ideas suck. Still works. Word doing, a bunch of it is crap, and that's why like majority of the people have ideas, but hardly some of them works, right? Why it matters, and it's true with startups too, I guess, like because startups like 9 out of 10 fails, so makes sense. Most of the features you release will be useless, and a small percentage will be the core product of a company. When people think about the 10x engineer, it's not an engineer who create 10x more code, but those who create 10x more value for the company. Beautiful line. Beautiful line. I'm posting this while I post it online. Post it on your LinkedIn. Get some followers. And when people talk about 10x engineers, rise of the 100x engineers, wow. Okay, putting it in the backlog again. Just building what I'm told is especially dangerous because of the next law. Oh, if we just accept the roadmap our project manager hands us, we risk working on 90% crap with the features that don't move the company anywhere. So that's why just building what I'm told is especially dangerous because of the new next law. Zewinski's law. Every program attempts to expand until it can read mail. Those programs which cannot so expand are replaced by the ones that can. This is especially true in the AI era. It's so easy now to add chatbots or any feature everywhere, making your project a gigantic monster. Maybe it's okay that your customers will have some spreadsheets outside of your product. All software adds feature until it is annoyingly complicated. It is then replaced by a simpler solution which adds features until it exactly is as complicated. Nice. Why it matters, that's how feature creeps happen. Continuing to add features to the point where they undermine the product's value. So basically, let's say if you have a car, you start adding so many features to a level, it's no more car, the underlying traveling thing is gone, and it's more of a stupid thing, like trying to add wings to it, right? Trying to make it go on water. Might look good, but it might become annoying at one point. Users complain that the product is becoming too complicated or confusing and can't find the functionality they need. In particular, the fresh ones are completely lost. Hiram's law. When a sufficient number of users of an API, it does not matter what you promise in the contract, all the observable behaviors of your system will be dependent on by somebody. Users of an API, with a sufficient number of users of an API, it doesn't matter what you promise in the contract, all observable behaviors of your system will be depended on by somebody. This one is truly hilarious. Okay, let's see. Changes in version 10.17. The CPU no longer overheats when you hold down spacebar. Comment writes, long-time user, this update broke my workflow. My control key is hard to reach, so I hold spacebar instead, and I figured Emacs to intercept a rapid temperature rise as a control. That's horrifying. Look, my setup works for me. Just add an option to renewable spacebar heating. This is so crazy. Holy. I'm just going to read this and I'll feel my brain is already like a bit so much smarter with this. Okay. So let's see. The law talks about APIs, but I believe it's relevant to features too. As we saw in Sturgeon's law, 90% of everything is crap, but you will still spend tons of time maintaining 100% of your features because as soon as you release something, let me just make sure I'm audible. I'm audible, right? Yeah, I'm audible. That's good. Okay. There is at least one customer who will use it. tons of time maintaining 100% of your feature, because as soon as you release something, there is always at least one customer who will use it. When you try to remove it, they will complain. They will, of course, complain. And some business stakeholders will pressure you to keep supporting that feature. Interesting. I've discussed this feature in feature flags are ruining your code base. Okay. Feature flags are great tool, but you can't be can be abused to give project managers an excuse to not make hard decisions, such as completely removing a feature from the code base. That's interesting. So, like removing one thing, where you have to, as a project manager, you might not want to, because of this. You are talking to stakeholders, but as a software engineer, you are like, hell with this. I want it done, right? Price law. In any group, 50% of the work is done by the square root of numbers of people. For example, if you have 10 engineers, half of the output will be attributed to 3 of them. Out of 100 engineers, 10 will generate an output similar to what others 90% do. I learned about this law from Itzy's LinkedIn post, where he used it to explain why Twitter didn't collapse. Elon Musk 50% of the 50% of Twitter employees in November 2022. Price's square root law explains why Twitter didn't explain, even when further 30% was fired. The square root of the original 8,000 is just 90. Oh my god, that's crazy. That's what I think Amazon and all these guys keep doing that, right? Why it matters. Scaling team is hard. If you want a X2 twice your output, price law means you will need to hire 4x more people. One explanation of that law is Riggleman's effect. The tendency for individual members of a group to become increasingly less productive as the size of their group increase. Individual members of a group become increasingly less productive as the size increase. I was shocked to learn this phenomena as discovered and analyzed more than 100 maybe years ago. Yes, in 1913 with a rope pulling competition. The more people participated in the group, the less effort each member made. That's actually an interesting way to put it. Identify 2 reasons: loss of motivation, social loafing, coordination problem. Coordination is a big thing. That's the reason, right? This makes sense. Elon Musk fired 50% of the Twitter employees in November 2022 and still didn't collapse, because first is the square root law, right? The price law, and then it makes sense. Like the lesser group people becomes more and more productive. It's crazy. Why it matters? Yes, it's not only about physical force. Post Hog wrote The Magic of Small Engineering Teams. They have 47 people organized in 15 teams. Who's Post Hog? The team behind Post Hog and the product engineers. Okay. I need to read this, man. This is good shit. This is some good stuff. I think as a project manager, if I want to reach, this is such an interesting thing. Nameless one say, yeah, buddy. Today is actually, because it's Sunday for me, right? Was that last one? Yeah, I'm in Canada. So it's still today is basically my day off. But, honestly, I wanted to learn more about tech, because things are moving too fast, man, with AI and everything. And so I was like, I want to spend some time learning good stuff. Like I want to learn, whether it's with project engineering, software engineering, system design, AI. So I thought, on Sunday, I'll hang out with you guys, right? I'm in Discord. If you guys want to join me, right, we can have a chat there right now on live. So we can learn together. And I created this so we can read these and stuff. And I created a Reddit page where I will share everything, like all the things which I find is good. You're already in that? Let's do it. Okay, let's see. Let me join. No. Let's do general chat. And voice. Gift inventory. Yeah, like we can chat here because I want to learn from everyone and I hope people are able to learn from me, right? Devices, voice and chat. Okay. Input device will be Yeti. Output will be Yeti as well. And let me join again. So yeah, if anybody is here, right, wants to chat as we speak, it'll be nice. I'm down, so down. Here. Can you hear me? Yeah, should be audible. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you want, I'm more than happy to teach. And if you have anything, right, to want me to talk about any particular article you read or a video you saw, you want me to have a look, it'll be nice. But yeah, we were here at the 13th or 11th law. No, 10th law. Post Hog wrote about the magic in small engineering teams. They have 47 people organized in 15 teams, especially in small startups with new products. Don't be afraid to break out into smaller teams and clear areas of ownership, which is nice. I think, especially with the startups, I think that's why startups work very well. Small teams, ownership, and a sense of like a responsibility and importance is a big thing. All these things are big, right, when these things come. So voice, I'll mention this, so if anybody wants to join, I mean voice, general chat. Let's see if I can share at the same time. Yeah, okay. So anybody can join from anywhere if they want chat. Okay, so Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. This one is pretty famous. It gets thrown around constantly in tech, saying that you shouldn't measure lines of code or PRs as people will rightfully game it. That's true, because if we are just talking about PRs, I can raise like one code change or one small fix every PR, or like with lines of code I can do it like with the comments and everything. It will so easy to change. But as a good programmer, I've fixed like couple of related bugs in one PR with logic mentioned for all, like, and very small comment written. So, and a lot of time comment is also not written because I don't want to write it, as it will make worst. It will worse the code. Because you don't want to over do the commenting. When a metric becomes a target, ceases to be a good metric. Sounds bad. Let's offer a bonus to anyone who identifies a metric that has become a target. That's actually a good point. Which is funny too, because we are going to like identify a metric that has become a target. That itself is a target. Why it matters? Every KPI your team or company uses can be gamed. Revenue, huge discounts. Churn, make cancellations super difficult. Or basically like if you're looking at cancellations or like turnarounds. New user, aggressive ad campaign that bring low quality leads. Support, ticket resolution time, closing tickets quickly without really solving the problems. I've experienced that as a customer, because people will just say, yeah, even in organizations, this happens, right? That's why they go for, okay, how was your experience? It's the same with velocity, actual VS planned, and so on. Any metric by itself can become useless quite fast. So you need like couple of variables, like, okay, solving resolution time, but also like what was the comments of the person who you solved, quality of the thing you served. Still, the answer is not we shouldn't measure. If we take approach, we should fall into Gilb's trap. We will fall into Gilb's trap. Anything you need to quantify can be measured in some way that is superior to not measuring it at all. Basically saying that it might be hard to measure and measurements might not be 100% accurate, but any measurement is better than nothing, which is a good point. You need resolution time, you need those things, but you need to make sure it's not getting fooled, and you have to keep an eye with those small things. Why it matters? This is a great counterbalance to Goodhart's law. Instead of giving up on measuring, we should start with something and work to improve it. We have seen it happening with developers' productivity. Dora, SpaceX, DevX, different ways, each providing different advantages. Instead of giving up on measuring, we should start with something or work to improve it. I love the recently released DX Core 4, which makes a lot more sense to me. What's this DX? Introduction Core 4, the best way to measure and improve your product velocity. Oh, wow. Nice. This is so nice. Holy. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. No list of law is complete without Murphy Law. The big one. Why it matters? We'll laugh about it, but I'm sure you have experienced something like this. Indeed. You are under pressure to release a feature. There's just one edge case that is super complex to test, and you are sure it will never happen. So you decide to cut a corner. That's too complex to test. No way it will ever happen. Guess what happens during production the next Sunday? After it happened to be 4 to 5 times. Yeah, I know. I am now trained to catch those thoughts. Every time I think something is improbable, I go the extra step to verify that we are covered. Final words, none of the laws is a real law. They are just great mental models. I hope that having them in mind will save you some pain day to day. Check this repo for additional laws and principles. This is interesting. MCP reading this week, simply explained in 5 minutes. Yo, I will read this. Balancing user experience and revenue. Power of micro exits, my story building. Okay. This is a great one. I will love to I'll post my email later. Okay. So I'll put this in my backlog. MCP explained in 5 minutes, 100% reading this. Feature flags are ruining your code. Release flags are useful techniques and lots of teams use it. However, they should not be your last choice when you are dealing with putting features into production. Okay. Oh, did I save that for backlog? Okay. Close this guy. Okay, CTO Elon Musk fire. I don't want to post it on my stuff because a lot of people are employees. Okay, I'll put this in my backlog too. These are all great resources. I never knew. Like PostHog, I had no idea what this ever was a thing. Substack. Okay. But let's look at MCP simply explained in 5 minutes. This is something good because the whole world, all the AIs, like if you're looking at AIs, they have a common language called MCP. That's how they talk. Model Context Protocol. Simply explained in 5 minutes. And Anthropic was, I believe, the one who came up with this. Building. MCP, just type this. Who created this? Anthropic, the one who created Claude, came up with this. So let's see what this is, because if you learn about this, if you're able to build something, that's a very good thing to put in your resume. MCP simply explained in 5 minutes. Let me post this. Let's see if this will be a good or a bad one. Might be a good one. I hope it's a good one. And it got 216 likes, so probably. MCP, or Model Context Protocol, is the hot new trend right now, but it also sounds much more complicated than it actually is, just like Docker. Kubernetes is hard, but Docker is very simple and people think it's very hard, even with cloud. In this article, I will simplify what MCP is for you, should you, or show you how you can use it to be more productive, and explain how it works behind the scenes. What is MCP? Put simply, MCP is a way for LLMs, large language models, to more easily integrate with external tools like chatbots and all those stuff, because when you're using GitHub Copilot, you're using MCP. By default, right? By default, when you talk to Claude, ChatGPT, or your Cursor IDE, if you ask it to pull the latest errors from Sentry and fix them, it will have no idea what you are talking about. Okay, simply it won't know how to do any of these. Read the PRD, your project manager or project requirement document, right? PRD, that's I believe is the one. PM project manager provided, and write tests that meet the requirements. Read the messages in your alerts channel in Slack and debug them. Create Jira tickets for some code you found that needs to be refactored, which is amazing. MCP allows you to do all these. It's a standard protocol that engineers can follow to expose these tools to LLMs. What is simplified diagram? Below is a simplified diagram of the MCP model, right? Let me just drink some water before this. Hopefully you guys are hydrating. Hydrate, lads, hydrate. Keep drinking water, especially in so hot nowadays. Okay, below is simplified diagram for the MCP mental model. Client could be Cursor, could be ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever. MCP servers and adapters. And there we have Sentry API, Slack API, Jira API. What is Sentry? Refers to several things, but most commonly denotes a developer-first error tracking and performance monitoring platform, Sentry AI.io. Sorry. Okay. When it was talking about latest error from Sentry and fix them. Okay. MCP allows you to do all these. It's a standard protocol that engineers can follow. There are two key components. MCP client, various clients and apps use like Cursor, various clients and apps you use like Cursor know how to talk to using the MCP protocol. MCP servers, providers like Sentry, Slack, Jira, Gmail, etc. set up adapters around their APIs that follow the MCP protocol. Any engineer can also open source their own. Note, the official term they are called as is MCP servers, but the design pattern at play is the adapter pattern. What is the adapter pattern? Car to rail adapter. Oh, okay. And this car is because the more the car runs, this also wheels run. Okay. So adapter is like basically like a middleman. Term is the MCP server, but the design pattern is adapter pattern. They convert a message like get me the recent messages in alerts channel to request that can be sent to the Slack API. So why was MCP introduced? It solves the problem of needing to manually integrate the different APIs you want to use. If you have ever tried talking to third-party APIs, you know how much of a pain it is to integrate all different API types and patterns. MCP solves that by solving these providers to allow one standard interface. Hold up. So why was MCP introduced? It solves the problem needing to manually integrate different APIs you want to use. Okay. if you have ever tried talking to third party APIs, you know how much of a pain it is to integrate all the different APIs, types and patterns. MCP solved that by forcing these providers to follow one standard interface. We'll dive more into what the interface looks like soon. First, we'll look at a particular case of how MCP is useful. How it's useful in practice. Let's say an error appears in browser console and you want cursor to solve it. Okay, accessing element.ref was removed in React 19. Ref is now a regular prop. It will be removed in JSX element and for which reason error compact. So element.ref, this API is removed in React 19. That's the question. That's the error. So we can hook up an MCP server to cursor that can give cursor superpowers. So this is something we can do with our Raspberry Pi I have, right? We can play with that. It will let cursor read the console logs, take screenshots and interact with the browser to test if it solved the problem. For this, I use the AgentDex browser tools MCP. Okay. Bro, these people are mentioning so many other tools, which is nice, but holy. So we hook up an MCP server. So we created one and hook it up to give it superpower. I'll let the cursor read the console logs, take screenshots and interact with the browser to test if it solved the problem. Okay. Once the MCP is set up, I opened a cursor composer window and said, read from the browser console logs and fix the tooltip. So let's look at what this guy is. AgentDex. Browser tools. Installation. Browser tool embeds AI code editors and agents directly into your web browser. Okay. So it can read console logs. It can read our API request response, screenshot capabilities. Currently DOM select elements. SEO performance, the Lighthouse, which was run by Google. Next.js specific SEO audit. Oh my god, this is actually a superpower. Holy F. Okay, and this is ChatGPT, I believe. Read, or maybe just cursor. So read from the browser console and fix the tooltip. And let's see, read from the browser console logs and fix the tooltips. I'll help you fix this tooltip ref issue. First, let me check the browser console logs and understand what's happening. Without needing to copy paste anything, I'll tell it to read from the browser logs to fix the issue. Not only that, but it can use this tool and browser to check itself. Here's an example of using agent mode. Let's take the console logs, right? We are still seeing the error. Let's try a different approach. The issue is with the Tippy component from this library in React. We need to update this newer version of the library, find a different way to handle tooltips. Let's check the package and JSON, right? Package.json. So they changed that unless they are trying. The custom tooltip approach usually got rid of the error. Now, that's the best approach. I don't think so, but that's just a matter of reprompting. So it got our error fixed. May not be the best way, but it did got the error fixed in certain way. And the suggestion was good. It was cool to see the MCP tool in use when in agent mode. Cursor did all the things a developer would do, thinking through each step of the problem as it got stuck and identifying different tools to see or to use. You could envision setting Cursor up with all the tools you have access to, like doc search, Slack conversation, reading from the PRDs, project requirement documents, or design docs, and more. With all these tools at its disposal, it will become more powerful and can save you even more time. Here's the thing, honest review of the agent mode. It took me so for the project I work, right? I don't like writing test cases, right? And so I won't say much information about the project, but I don't like writing test cases. I'm not a fan of it. So it took me 1 hour, maybe, or 1.5 hours to create a really good prompt to tell in an agent mode to use Gemini 2.5 to create certain test cases for me by looking at the doc, and it did a good job, not going to lie. but it was still failing. Certain things were failing. So what you have to do is like go through a proper checklist and make sure you understand its thinking process. You're asking it to show me your thinking process, how it actually works behind the scenes. To see how MCP works, let's look at an actual integration. It's simpler than you would think. This MCP server repo has one of Google Drive's, GitHub, Slack entry, and Postgres and more. Okay, this repo. Okay, let's see. MCP model context protocol. Okay, I need to start it. Protocol server. This repository is a collection of reference implementation for the model context protocol, as well as references to community built servers and additional resources. The servers in this repository showcase the versatility and extensibility of MCP, demonstrating how it can be used to give large language models secure, controlled access to tools and data sources. Typically use MCP servers. Okay, I can use it to create like some personal projects too. That'll be nice. Okay, so we have Python, which is good. These servers aim to demonstrate MCP features and official SDKs. Okay, everything, reference, test case, source, blah blah blah, archived. Okay, third-party servers are also there. Alibaba has it. Big one. Apache. Okay, this will be useful, very useful. Atlantis, Auth0 or Auth0. Azure, of course. AWS should have it. Okay, this is a good, I need to look into this. Okay. So I'll drop this though. I'll drop this specific thing for you guys. One sec. Okay, the Slack MCP server is only one file. There are three things happening: defining a set of tools for the MCP server to implement, creating the server to listen to incoming request, defining a switch case that receives the tool call and calls the underlying external APIs like the Slack API. Okay, so these are three different parts: defining the tool, interface tool name, description, input schema. So this is how the MCP works. So we have like Slack, the tool input schema is in a different way. Itself is an interface. Okay. And it's all one file for Slack. So get channel history tool in the Slack MCP. So const tool name, description, input schema, object, properties, channel ID, limit, type number of messages to retrieve, default 10. So this is like almost like Jenkins too, right? Like only pick up last 10 builds and just look at it. So that's how I feel like when I was reading the stuff, it gave me the same feeling as a DevOps engineer. Cursor on the MCP client needs to provide the channel ID, and the Slack MCP will return the most recent 10 messages in the channel. Starting the server. Next, we create the server that will handle the incoming tool requests from Cursor or the MCP client. Okay, so we have the server, Slack MCP server capabilities tool we mentioned before, handling incoming calls. So we created one server here, and here we're getting the function. We are mentioning what to get with the tool. Handling incoming tool calls. We need to give the server a handler to respond to tool calls. Like if the Cursor asks for the recent messages in a channel, here's what that looks like, full code here. So it's one file he created. Okay, so Slack get history one, parameters argument, channel ID, response, type JSON. Okay, I closed that one. My apologies. Okay, so we have handling incoming calls, server set request handler, call tool request schema, async function, request whatever request we made, switch, name based on the name. Yes, this was our name. If you go back to our response, right, this was the name, other cases, blah blah blah, whatever to do. Writing up transport between client and server. There's one more hidden part that you need to worry to not don't need to worry too much about, but it might be interesting for you. It's these lines at the very bottom. Transport studio server transport server dot connect to this transport. Okay, so I think we have to connect to this specific server when we are setting up our agent mode. As you will see in the next step, we set up this MCP server to run directly in the cursor. These two lines allow the MCP client and server to communicate more simply than the standard HTTP request. Instead, they can read from the standard input-output when they're communicating. More details here, what it is. Oh, this is the MCP's documentation. Okay. How to add an MCP server to cursor. Each MCP will have its own instructions, but in general, you need your MCP client, cursor in this case, to run MCP server. Okay, things get more complicated when you need additional integrations, API keys, and permissions. Okay, so we need like each MCP, like MCP server, will need its own instructions, but in general, you need your MCP client to run MCP server. So like our VS Code with the agenting mode, our cursor and all those. To start, let's use Puppeteer MCP server, which will let cursor interact with our browser. mcp.json file directed to cursor docs. Look at the npx command. Okay, paste the npx command. So we have the npx command, which is, if you don't know, similar to npm, but not exactly same, but for those node, getting your node things working. Arguments -y server Puppeteer. Now I open the command palette, go to cursor settings, and then enable the MCP. So enable. So we have from the MCP server doc, it was able to recognize and get from the agent desk AI. We have to enable this one, Puppeteer. After clicking to enable it, the circle will go green and this will be marked as enabled. So browser tools, because we want our our AI cursor to read through the browser logs. We don't want to even give it the logs or errors we are receiving. It should be able to read from there. Now, when I give cursor a command in the command palette, it will use Puppeteer to control the browser. So open up this using Puppeteer, fill in the form and random values and submit it. If any error happen in the console, fix them in the code. Otherwise, tell me it worked. Okay, I want to open the image quickly next to just see. I'll help you navigate to specific URL, find out the form with the random values, check, and let's do step by step. Now let's take the screenshots. It's taking the screenshots too. Fill up the form with random values. Okay. The process of setting up other MCP servers is same. It's just involve other setups steps and adding environment variables. For example, Slack MCP needs you to add a Slack app. Then in your cursor MCP file, add environment variable Slack bot token, team ID, which we are. So what is MCP? Wait for LLMs to talk to each other. Gives LLM way more like superpowers. Currently you don't, because you are just chatting with ChatGPT and stuff. How it works behind the scene: provides like wrappers around the API that follow standard MCP interface, and this wrapper will give more context to your LLM, and it will be able, and you can add it using the mcp.json file. Do I have cursor here? Let's see. Okay, I was playing with some AI stuff, and you guys can see I was working with some TTS generator and stuff. Okay, let me make it bigger for everyone. Shout out to the week. I came across this gem newsletter, blah blah blah. Okay, so I want to look at this specific file, .cursor mcp.json. And where do you add it? And this is the whole file. So if I have to add it, do I add it just in this? And if let me just copy paste certain parts of this. Is this by no, this is by MCP protocol. So let's see quickly how we are able to add one. This part 2, all these are in same file, so each tool exposed. So I have const this one. Let's see. Oh, let me make this small. Server tools, right? Error handling incoming servers, blah blah blah. I have to remove this. And the last. So let's say if I added this, right? I just want to see create this JSON file as directed from the cursor docs. Okay. MCP in the chat, authentication MCP servers in the environment variables. So if I have this file, base 64 code they have given to me. This is server.js. Where is .cursor file? Oh, there it is. So rules are here, and inside rules we have MDC to create a new server, blah blah blah. Okay, so we are going to, this is the instructions to the cursor. To create a new server, copy this file for the pattern and use MCP SDS documentation. Make sure to add it to the CLI.json readme. Do not print anything to the console log since this is STD Studio service and you can't write it without breaking the protocol. Okay. Hold up. Now, wait, I have this file. This isn't goes in my server, I believe now. This goes in my server, and this one, npx command, right, in the msaver server docs. This will go in my here. MCP server. Oh. What is the file name? mcp.json. No, didn't do the job. Okay, MCP servers copied here. Now if I open command palette, cursor settings, okay, I have here, so cursor settings, chat settings, where is it? Cursor settings. Nope. Oh wait, cursor settings. Yeah, this is here. Now if I add enable MCP, where is MCP, lads? Beta, update accent network, indexing, rules, tools and integration. Puppeteer here. Okay, MCP tool. So if I enable 0 tools enabled, add MCP servers, and this will save to .cursor MCP JSON. Okay, not just in the file. I can have a particular server for the entire system itself. Okay, this is a good read. I'll post this. This is something I can post, and I will put it here. Any other document you want me to read, or should I go more in the AI documents? Link. I will post it in my Reddit too, so it's available for everyone, right? That's my whole job. I want to make sure everybody is able to read and make use of AI. Let me copy this. Okay. So I'm just going to post this. Hopefully you guys like it. Yeah. And this is the post for Reddit. This is just for like so everybody can share good quality articles, files, and everything they're reading. Or videos too, right? So one thing actually I did, because if you see this, right, this is, I have so many things on here. I don't know what to say, but I think there was something I was reading which was pretty nice. Let me use a tool. Okay, I don't have it here. Where was it? Where improve GitHub Copilot prompts and prompt boost extension. Okay. Let's read about the GitHub Copilot boosting the prompt. It's called Prompt Boost. I think this is where an article I was reading, right? Oh, it's very similar. Very similar. High growth engineer. So if we see here, the extension is also very similar. Okay, let's read how to convert or learn about prompt engineering, how to create your GitHub Copilot prompts into a prompt boost with a prompt boost extension. If you are new to GitHub Copilot or other AI coding assistants, it can be a challenge to get good results as you are still learning on how to write good prompts. True. What if there was a way to automatically transform your basic prompts into comprehensive context-rich instructions that constantly produce better results? Excuse me, let me drink some water. I hope nobody forgot to listen to the Discord. Okay. I'll keep an eye like this. Okay. So, we have Enter Prompt Boost, a VS Code extension that bridges the gap between bridges the gap between what you quickly type and what AI models actually need to generate high quality relevant code. What is a Prompt Boost? Prompt Boost is a VS Code extension created by Chris Dias that enhances your prompts by adding relevant technical context, best practices, and specific requirements. Instead of sending bare bones requests to GitHub Copilot, it helps you create detailed instructions that lead to more accurate, useful responses. The extension transforms your basic prompts into comprehensive specifications. Here's an example of transformation. Create a new login component. Create a reusable login component with following specification: components, email input fields with email validation, password input field with maximum 8 characters, remember me or minimum 8 characters, remember me checkbox, submit button, error, form error handling and validation messages. Technical requirements: use React functional component with TypeScript, implement validation. So good stuff. Expected behavior: Okay, so let's download this. Should be available in Cursor too, right? Extensions. So if I go prompt boost, do I have it? Or is it going to be in prompt boost? No. Open source coding assistant with local AI. No. It's not here. I thought because Cursor is a fork of VS Code, it should be here. But let me open. Okay. Just simple this one. Prompt boost. Okay. It's a verified one. Auto update. 10,000 with 3 ratings of 5-star. Okay. Prompt.md file, GitHub prompts. Okay. Let's read its reviews and ratings. Who is Chris DS Dev? Visual basic prompt. Okay, about me. Interesting. Okay, very less information about this person, but that's fine. So we have this AI prompt boosting thing. Include JS doc, add prompt types, blah blah blah. Testing requirements, write unit test case for form validation, include integration test for form submission, blah blah blah. The difference is striking. The enhanced version provides clear technical direction, following best practices, and anticipates common requirements that you typically want but forgot to specify. Getting started with prompt boost. First, search and install this. Okay. Once installed, you are ready to use it. There are 2 ways to for prompt boost extension. File-based enhancement. Create or open a .prompt md file in the .github prompts folder. Okay. So we have in GitHub, we have, let's say, prompts folder and then another file. Write your basic prompt, create a new login, right click and select boost prompts and then editor menu, boost prompts. Remark, the first time you do it, the extension asks confirmation to use GitHub Copilot models. Yes. VS Code chat, select agent mode. I don't like ChatGPT 4.1. I like Gemini. Write your prompt and ask Copilot to boost it. Okay. You get an improved prompt back that you can use further. Okay. So basically it's like chaining, right? Like what you get, I think that's what it's doing. The integration with VS Code is particularly smooth, making it feel like a natural part of the AI assisted coding workflow. This doesn't help much. This is not that helpful. I have to look more into this. Okay. So let's look at something better. Do you guys have any code any for me, or should I just look more through my tabs, which I should have cleared years ago? Okay, what is this one? I probably had a bunch of these, but all are gone now. What is this? Okay, this is not useful. AI video dubbing. AI maker, not an AI taker. UK builds its vision with NVIDIA infrastructure. Establishing itself as an AI leader through sovereign infrastructure, GPU deployment by cloud providers Nscale and Nebius. NVIDIA is supporting the initiative through okay, so this is more like a NVIDIA UK thing. Okay, this is interesting. Building an AI server on a budget. Guide to building a custom AI server. Okay. Sure, let's have a look. And what did it got? Got 40 upvotes. Building an horrible color, but okay. Building an AI server on budget. Okay. This is detailed walkthrough how I built my own AI server from scratch. A budget, acquire hardware, assemble hardware, install operating system, install software and tools. Unrestricted learning, hands-on operation, cost saving. So this is not what I was thinking. Okay, never mind. 99% of people still don't know the basics of prompting. This is good, right? You guys think this is a good one? So TLDR for this is effective AI prompting requires strategic thinking rather than simple commands. The key principles include first principles thinking to break down complex problems into core components, chain of thoughts prompting to build context through layered interactions, and meta prompting to collaborate with AI in designing better prompts. Most people treat AI like a search engine, but mastering prompting as a thinking discipline involves defining clear outcomes, providing a proper context, and structuring requests systematically. Do you guys want me to read this one? You think this is a good one? Let's see. If I refresh this, it got 21 upvotes. Let's see. What is MCP model? I can get this for free. I don't have to pay. So I will just go over certain ones, whichever you want me to know. AI videos with audio face. Okay, I'm taking into this one. Weekly roundup of AI developments, including open source text to speech with emotion control, video generation tools with audio sync capabilities. This is a bit old one, but this will be nice. Model leading benchmarks, AI gameplay generators for video games, 3D model facings from single images, and free access to OpenAI Sora through Microsoft Bing mobile app. Oh, I have this. Multiple tools now offer local installation wearing VRAM. Okay, so let's have a look.
I never.
This is a 34-minute video. Do you guys want to watch this one? OpenAI. So we have some contenders. Let me close whatever this guy's. Close this guy. Close this guy. What topic you would like? Attacker steal data from websites. How attacker steals data? No, not hacking. Not today, at least. What is this? Can AI truly develop a memory that adapts like yours or ours? 17-minute read, huh? You know what I can do, interestingly? Let's look at these ones for now. And I had some very interesting thing I found. This is called Advanced Concepts. Welcome to a group of experienced people. From prompts to deployed app in less than 2 minutes. How to earn enough. Building a modern data warehouse from scratch. We launched a 10x faster in production. Make you better at Docker. JavaScript interviews, Cloudflare, MVP for both web admin and mobile PWA, tech stack at scalable, React cache function, performance of 19 features, a day without internet, new VS Code extensions. Okay. So if I have video AI or Hugging Face, do I have something from Hugging Face? Oh, Hugging Face says it's a new robotics model is so efficient it can run MacBook. Humanoid robots are there. Holy fuck. Yeah, this is way too fast moving. Hugging Face releases new operator agentic AI tool. Dude, this is disturbing at this point. How I grew from engineer Chat with ChatGPT via AI Studio. TypeScript, how I use cursor plus my best tip. If switch, architectural patterns. 5 powerful. Oh, this will continue our learning then. The post details 5 powerful MCP servers which enhance AI agents capabilities. These features include Firecrawl for web scraping, Browser Base for initiating browser sessions, OPIC for monitoring LLM applications, Brave MCP server for utilizing Brave search, and sequential thinking for problem solving through structured thinking processes. Additionally, the post introduces Stagehand, an initiative browser automation framework for AI agents. Seems like a marketing plug for this company. Here's a better one. Beautiful soap. That's true. Beautiful soap is always good. One thing, prompt engineering was what we were learning about with MCP server. Prompt engineering, sources, users, and sources. So if I have prompt engineering, yesterday, last year, okay, prompt engineer is dead. 14-minute watch time. Guide. Getting weather results from LLMs. There is no like GitHub level, like, you know, with the Reddit, we have like the better one comes up. When I search, I don't see that with it. So this one 6, 8. As a developer discipline, structured prompting is becoming a crucial skill for developers, akin to traditional coding practices. Using AI efficiently involves treating prompts as a modular, testable component within software system. Techniques like few-shot prompting, chain of thoughts, self-consistency, skeleton prompting, and configuration parameters improve AI coding outputs. Developers should rigorously validate and maintain prompts just like any other code to ensure reliability and consistency with AI-powered features. Table of content, few shot and one shot, chain of thought, self-consistency, skeleton prompting, output schema. Okay. Nope, not critical. I don't need it. Any good thoughts on what it means to be a dev currently, and nice tips on getting what you know from LLM. Putting your code into Markdown can help the LLM get a better understanding. No prompt will help you. Will help if you haven't planned a good architecture. No AI will handle it. I don't know why people are so critical. AI engineers involve crafting text prompts. So I think let's. Oh, this is by Spring. The post demonstrates practical implementation of prompt engineering techniques using Spring AI. I didn't know Spring has this here. Covers configuration and tuning of large language models, LLMs, and selecting. One sec. Explores various prompt techniques such as zero shot, one shot, few shot system. Okay. Comprehensive guide was translated into Java code. So they are talking about these ones. So let's look at the first one we saw as well. Had so many upwards. So let's look at this. What are the techniques? What is upshot, one shot, whatever? Okay. Neon. Structured programming is the new coding skill every developer needs. Andrew Tate posted it, lads. Andrew Tate. Last thing I want to see. Oh, it's Andrew Tate name is almost as same level of annoying as Karen, in my opinion. AI is here. That might seem like a trite comment, but almost a quarter of developers still see AI as something they don't plan to use. Okay. Using AI doesn't necessarily mean wipe coding your application into oblivion. Using AI as a developer means two things: understanding that AI is an ideal pair programming partner, understanding how to get most of AI to create the code you want. The key to the second is efficient prompt engineering. Along with programming principles like dry, solid, and other development best practices, prompt engineering is emerging as a critical skill in modern developers' toolkit. Great code from LLMs begin with great prompts. Just as writing clean functions or classes requires care and structure, crafting effective prompts demands methodological thinking and precision. Prompting is not a guessing game, it's a craft rooted in logic, testing, and structure. The most successful developers approach prompts with the same rigor they bring to traditional code, designing, refining, and optimizing for clear outputs. Here, we argue that developers should treat prompts as a software component, modular, testable pieces that can be evaluated, iterated on, and integrated into larger systems. When viewed through this lens, prompt engineering becomes a systematic discipline, allowing developers to harness AI with consistency and confidence. Okay, so let's very first the principle: few short and one short prompting. Show, don't just tell. When you provide examples of the output you want, you increase the likelihood of receiving properly formatted, contextually appropriate code. When you provide examples of the output you want, you increase the likelihood of receiving properly formatted and contextually appropriate code. Okay. This approach leverages the language's model pattern matching abilities. Without an example, write a function to calculate Fibonacci series. Okay, here's a function we created. With an example, write a function to calculate the Fibonacci series. Okay, so first one, write a function to calculate without giving an example. Define Fibonacci series 0, 1, range 2 to this. Okay, example 10. Okay, when we gave for n is 10, whatever is the number comes. All right, the specify value n generated, blah blah blah. Now we are giving determine if the number is prime, number to check, okay, is prime, output. So we got our comments, which is good. Fibonacci series 0, 1 here, because interesting. Okay, append a. This is interesting. So because this is because of these, this is such an interesting change. This is more like small level player, but this is good. I like it. With the example, the model mirrors you prefer documenting style and function signature conventions. Instead of assuming defaults, it adapts to structures you provided, providing more idiomatic and integration ready code. Okay. Fibonacci series, you are using int, list, and stuff. Same here. Okay. With the example, the problem, one problem with this is like it's such a small example they are giving. Why not give from an actual project like which has at least like 1 GB of code? That would change the game. That would actually show if these prompts are actually, or this technique is actually makes sense or not. Chain of thoughts. Induce stepwise reasoning. By prompting the AI to work through a problem step by step, you can ensure logical progression and catch potential issues before they manifest in code. This pattern is practically valuable, particularly valuable for complex algorithms or business logic with no reasoning. Create a function that implements quick sort. Okay, created it. Create a function with implements quick sort for an array of integers. Please first explain the quick sort and its time complexity. Then outline the key components needed. Write a function with clear and descriptive variable names. Add appropriate error handling. Include comments explaining each major step. Quicksort is a popular sorting algorithm. Works on this. Okay, key components. Now function with some documentation. Error checking the last stuff. Larger equal and blah blah blah. Okay. When reasoning, the model internalizes the algorithm before coding it. This leads to clear logic, better error handling. These are fucking. Sorry. The thing is, like, these are way small. Like, every single example I see is such a small code of, like, okay, write this. It has read through thousands of these same examples through GitHub and stuff. Give me examples of, like, okay, write test cases for Kubernetes function. Write test cases to test React 19. Self-consistency, multiple reasoning paths. For particular complex problems, instructing the model to generate multiple independent solutions and then select the best one significantly improves reliability. This mimics how senior developers often approach challenging issues. Without multiple passes, write code to detect cycles in a linked list. This is, again, like, this is, I don't understand why. Traverse each model algorithm logic. So it just created different approach. So first, reverse and compare. Floyd cycle detection using hash set. Like, thing is, and this is my honest opinion, right? With at least 2-3 months of using prompting and all those months, 2 months at least 100%. These concepts are good, but the examples given are useless as hell. Skeleton prompting, fill in the blank for structured control. When you need precise control over the structure of generated code, provide a skeleton that the AI can fill in. This is particularly effective for ensuring adherence to specific architecture patterns and coding standards. Create React component with user profile page. With a structure, complete the following. User ID to do blah blah blah. Output it. The skeleton means that the AI no longer has to guess your structure. It's filling in the blanks rather than making architectural decisions. This increases the alignment. Format defector. Okay. These are all interesting. Like, these concepts, I think everybody know at this point. Tuning prompts like runtime settings. Okay. These are not what I was looking for. Okay. Maybe fine tuning a model is an interesting topic though. Or Hugging Face. This is something I love to work on, honestly. And I'll show you something interesting. A lot of people not sure know about this or not. There's like a whole AI playground with these guys. For any single thing you want to run, DeepSight, generate any application with DeepSeek. All these things you can run for free. Translation, speech synthesis, 3D modeling, object detection, text analysis, code generation, question answering, data. Interesting, so interesting. But yeah, I guess lads, this is it for the day 1 of learning together. Next week I will try to have like better articles. At least we'll give it a shot on looking through better articles, finding ways to get better articles. But do post if you find something in Discord, right? I'll just mention my Discord again here. One sec. So yeah, Discord or even in Reddit, do mention it. It's getting too late for me. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, learned something, right? And let me know if I can be of any help. Like usual, this is your boy, the one that cannot be stopped from hacking, can be made quiet but not stopped. This is your favorite Sunset Hacker. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye bye. Have a great Monday morning if it's Monday for you, or Sunday night. Thank you so much. Have a good one, and like usual, bye.